Okay, that was my bad. This is what number 4. Take 4. Okay, so Suzanne Humphreys basically So we're talking about like the breast milk, right? So then there's a effort. Okay, okay. Let me talk about breast milk, breastfeeding. That's amazing. That builds people's immune systems phenomenally well. Then you have
the umbilical cord,
the cesareans, umbilical cord, the cord clamping, right? Basically, where people get when you're born, they clamp the baby's cords. We're the only species that does that, and you're basically starving the baby of stem cells.
A third of their blood volume.
Yeah, and their blood volume and stuff that they need, right? And then it's the cesareans, because going through the vaginal canal gives the baby lots of protection for the immune system as well. So because of modern medicine, all this is shut off, right? And then after all that, then you vaccinate the baby, and they're vaccinating newborn babies, and they're vaccinating pregnant mothers.
In the first 2 years of life, a child will get 72 vaccines in the first 2 years of life now. 72.
Yeah, it's insane, you guys. So just think about what that does to the immune system. Now if you look at the last interview that I did with Joy Gardner from the control group last week, you see how the vaccines add to this autoimmune issue. So if you have heart issues, diabetes, blah, 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 you're having dialysis surgeries, it's like, I think all of these modern day illnesses, are all these autoimmune disorders, all these quote unquote genetic disorders are really iatrogenic. They're not, meaning that it's caused by the pharmaceutical, the doctor, the system of medicine. Not like it just happens or it's just your genetics. I think there's a genetic component depending on like how susceptible you are to getting something, but I don't think a lot of people would get half the stuff that they got unless
they were messed with.
Unless they went through all this stuff on it. So there are people in the higher echelons that know this stuff, and they're basically,
but they don't
set us up to fail. Well, they don't care because they want us to be. It's another form of slavery. They want us to be dependent. They want us to be, because if we're sick, we can't think straight. We can't work as hard. We can't fight them, and we become we're easy to compromise.
And we're a threat to their.
We're competition, to their intelligence. They have to. That's another way of dumbing us down.
Right? Threat to their hegemony or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, that too.
I mean, it's spiritual. I mean, I was thinking about this when I got up this morning about spirituality, and like the past several decades we have this weird idea of spirituality, that it's like spirituality is like from your neck up, and it's like good feelings. It's all about good feelings.
Crystals and yoga.
And having good feelings and feeling one and feeling this and that. But really, spiritual, we are mind, body, soul, right? We're all one, mind, body, soul, all together. And you do damage to one, you do damage to them all. So there has to be a balance. And I was thinking about how satanic, say, communism is, just how absolutely evil communism is, because when you take a person's ability to provide for themselves and their ability to protect themselves away, you put them into a state of slavery and into a state of perpetual fear. And then once a person is in perpetual fear, you can manipulate them very easily. You can supply them with the false doctrine. They believe it because they're so desperate to live. It's like putting people in a constant state of fight, flight, right? And constantly they just have, cortisol and adrenaline going through their systems all the time. And then what that does, the fear state makes people hyper-focus on materialism.
And again, that's corrupting our instincts, because if we were in the
wild,
it's a protective mechanism.
Right.
They're reversing it on us.
And then it's very hard to love ourselves and to love each other, right? Because we're in this fear state. And so that's an assault on, I'm thinking about communism, and there are other religions. I mean, communism is in a way a religion, but it's a system, right? That basically enslaves people, but it's not just a physical, it's a spiritual enslavement as well. And if people could just wrap that around their heads and get really, really clear with that and understand, then things like this whole house of cards would just fall. You know what I mean? But so many people are are in this fear state and they don't even know. They don't, it's like, okay, government authority, tell me what to do and tell me what to think. And it's like, no, you can, there's this thing called the internet. You don't even have to like put on your snow boots and your jacket and trudge all the way to the library and then like fill out a card and put it
microfiche.
Microfiche, or like fill out a card and put in a request for this book to arrive in 3 weeks. And, go to the reference desk and
somebody's reading the book. I gotta wait 3 weeks.
Just like,
right, I know, I hated that. I remember that. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, and the thing is, it's like if you have a feeling that something is just not right, like something feels very, speaking of nature, look at the cows. Anyway, but it's like, if you're like, you know what, something is not right. Something just feels wrong. Like, for instance, when we got off at L'Enfant Plaza in D.C., the metro station, I hadn't been there in years and years. It's totally changed. It used to be like a more open area and these big, beautiful, stately government buildings with the sandstone and the big blocks of sandstone and the like ornate architecture, and it was like really beautiful. And now it's like they've replaced those buildings with these like Soviet style, Russian Soviet style government buildings, or they look like they come out of like, CCP imperialist buildings. These massive, massive structures. And I'm like, is this where all the money is going? Do you know what I mean? Like each one of these buildings is a different government, department or bureaucracy. And like each building has got thousands and thousands of employees in it. What the heck is going on? You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just bloated. And obviously it has a lot of foreign influence. And I said this in another video, because I minored in art history, and the way that we learned art history was through architecture. So there were these different dynasties. We had to learn about the different dynasties, and we had to learn about different, like, what do you call it? Empires, right? Empires. So after all the people are dead and gone, and even after the culture has fallen, these buildings stand, and these buildings are a testament to who controlled the population, right? And for the past several decades, the CCP has had a lot of control over the U.S. government, and they've been building buildings as their legacy, and then they can have in their documentaries and their history books and all of that, and their films, this is the I don't know if you want to call it the dynasty or the empire or the era or whatever of when the CCP controlled, took over the United States. The United States became a vassal state of China, but it's like I've been following what's been going on, and I knew it, but it's something else to like walk out of the metro station and everything has changed, and then the breath, it just took my breath away. You know what I mean? It took, and like I'm saying, like as an artist and understanding architecture and understanding history and how empires leave their mark with these big buildings. It's either temples or buildings or government buildings that they leave behind. It was just like, it was very sobering, because I just saw history repeating itself. But most people are so totally unaware, And then to talk to these, men from like small towns, they're like business owners and farmers and stuff, and like everybody in their town has been decimated, and they're on the brink of like homelessness, and this is like all over the country, and they're the CCP propaganda is trying to, has convinced a lot of Americans that we're enemies to each other, and they're our enemy. Their plan was to entirely take over the United States in 2049 for their centennial anniversary, their 100-year anniversary, because it was in 1949 that they really gained power. And they moved the goal up to 2020. They were like, oh my God, this is much easier and happening a lot faster than we had planned. So 2020 is the year that we take over the United States. So put that into context.
But why isn't it over? Because I'm going to name this one, It Ain't Over Till It's Over.
Because Americans have got guns. We have guns.
Well, what we were talking today, but too, like, you think that you think that there's other stuff in the works. I mean,
Well, I heard talk about Trump being able to use the Insurrection Act. Because when you look, if you go back and take your time and look at the footage of what happened in the Capitol, it was Antifa. So Trump supporters came and demonstrated outside the Capitol, and there was supposed to be a Dale Big Tree Health Freedom rally, right, at the back of the Capitol. It was supposed to be a health freedom rally. And so there's all this evidence, and there's footage of Antifa infiltrating the Trump rally, some of them dressed up like Trump supporters, I think. And I saw a couple of Confederate flags, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were actually Antifa.
Yeah, and Antifa was there because I think I got that on my live stream.
Yeah, they were there.
And I was like, why are you here, dude? Like, leave us alone. Go have your own fucking rally.
Yeah, but they were there. So it was supposed to be just at the back of the Capitol, Dale Big Tree Health Freedom Rally, while Ted Cruz was presenting that like huge pile of evidence of voter fraud, right? So that was the plan. He would present the evidence of voter fraud. We show our support for President Trump, and show our, like, even more than that, but show our desire for Congress to really look at this voter fraud. And then all of a sudden these Antifa guys break in, and then of course some dumb Trump supporters get in on the action, but it was the Antifa guys who broke the windows and broke in, and they got in. And there's also footage of Capitol Police allowing them in as well and taking selfies with them.
And you know that's true, because remember a few days before there were people saying that there were Antifa people being bussed in.
Yeah.
So now it's like a false flag. I don't know. I was upset the other day, but like, they're not going to get away with this shit. Like, they're not. And just even if it's like the 20th, we still have 2 more weeks. They're trying to impeach him now, and Trump said that there's going to be a peaceful transition. He didn't say to the Biden administration. He didn't say, but he was just like, he's being as diplomatic as they would like him to be, but still they're trying to get him out, like, and we only have 2 weeks. They can't wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, I imagine that if I was like a senator, a congressperson, or a staffer or whatever, like in session, the joint session of Congress, and I'm in session, and I'm hearing gunfire, or it sounds like gunfire. I can't see what's going on, right? So it sounds like gunfire. Already, the left and Antifa have been threatening to kill my family or kill me if I don't certify the votes. And so I'm sitting here, in the Capitol, and hearing all sorts of gunfire and all sorts of mayhem and chaos. And I'm thinking, and maybe there's, agents who are feeding information. Yeah, there's a gun battle going on outside. And I might think that Trump supporters are, were the ones who fired the first shots, and they brought their arms to the Capitol. But really what was happening was these, Capitol Police, or these government people, the guys dressed in black, were the ones firing. So I might get freaked out and go, okay, whatever, I'll certify the votes because I'm trying to save my family. I'm trying to save my life. So it was a false flag on them. It was a massive, massive psychological operation on them.
But I also think that there are people that were already turncoats in there.
And there were turncoats as well. I mean, it was a mixed bag. There were turncoats. There were people who were really good people. But at the last minute, they were just so afraid, and they thought, well, if I don't certify these votes, this gunfire, and we're gonna become Iraq, we're gonna become Syria.
Yeah, and these,
you know what I mean?
I mean, okay, there are certain dates to do stuff, but it doesn't have to matter, because if there's still treason,
Yeah,
the
there
dates
is.
don't
And
matter.
Yeah,
Dates
and
don't matter.
so hopefully, I mean, so many people recorded, like, what the thing to do. So Facebook, Instagram, banning
YouTube,
people,
yeah.
YouTube, Twitter, banning people.
Cutting off the
The
feed
thing
so
for
we
people
can,
to do is to talk to people one-on-one, to send emails and share information and just talk to people one-on-one and share the truth. We can't rely.
We're the media, you guys. We're the media. We're the Superman.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. We're all human beings. We're all human beings. Even like BLM, they have grievances. You know, rural Americans have grievances. And everybody's been being manipulated and disenfranchised. Everybody.
And
you know?
and it's like, you know, they already banned the president from Twitter. Well, if it's over with and, you know, it's set in stone, why are they banning him and why are they trying to impeach him? Right.
Yeah.
You know? So they know that there's still a window of time that we can have to turn this around. They still cheated with the House and the Senate. Those MFers. They cheated. CS and MFers. It's not going to last for long.
But it's just like it's interesting to see people's comments. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's a personality type as well. Like there are people who are like, I just want to be told, like whoever's got the most money and the most titles is the one I'm going to follow. Like it doesn't occur to them that just because a person has money and titles doesn't mean that they have wisdom or they're your best interests at heart. But there are people, it's like a value system that they have, and it's an extremely materialistic value system. Because if you go, okay, I'm not going to listen to these people because they don't have a lot of money and they don't have a lot of education and they don't have the degrees and stuff like that. But they might be the people to save your freaking life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these people, I was so much in awe of people who, like, they grow our food. Like,
Yeah.
without food, no life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They freaking grow our food, and through the Chinese Communist Party, buying out all of these big officials, these governors and these mayors and these city council members, and infiltrating everything. These stupid people, I'm sorry, I have to say it, and they've got degrees and they're highly educated and they've got very big egos, are just following freaking orders.
They're useless.
They're useless idiots.
They're
but
the
they're
useless eaters.
They're useful idiots and useless eaters. They're you know.
Well,
No, they're not useless. They're useful idiots, but they consider us to be, because they're useful to.
I know, to the evil side, the evil. They're useless to the
right,
evil.
and so it's like they don't even think. It's like, oh, like if we force all the farms in the area to kill all of the livestock, to plow all of the fruits and vegetables into the ground, to not plant and to not harvest, what's gonna happen?
Wait.
Like people are gonna freaking starve. But these people, these useful idiots, they take buyouts, they get wined and dined by the CCP officials, and then they get drunk, and then they get compromised. You know, so it's a mix between greed and being compromised. And they're not willing to sacrifice. They think it's okay to sacrifice our lives for them. Of course, that's the way. Like, I'll tell you, I'm going to get a little bit religious right now. That's why I follow Christ, because he's the only God who sacrificed himself for us. Like, all the other gods are false gods because they demand human sacrifice. Like, they demand that we kill each other off or we kill ourselves, and then they're going to do us some favors, right? But any god that like demands sacrifice is a demon. It's not. Oh, speaking of demons, there are these big statues that look like I saw a gargoyle, like these massive statues over there. It was like, but you know, like the way I know I'm talking about the CCP a lot right now. It's not even necessarily, it's like beyond the CCP. It's just evil, demonic stuff. But the way I figure out what's true and what's not, besides listening to my heart and intuiting it, I just reverse engineer stuff. I just take it from the top. I follow the money. I also follow who's celebrating, whose demise, right? So right now, the Chinese Communist Party is celebrating because they think Biden won. They're celebrating what happened at the Capitol. They're celebrating because they're like, whoopee, all right, now we can really F over, Hong Kong and Taiwan. Now nobody's going to stop us. Nobody's going to stop us because we've done the U.S. We own the United States now because those senators certified the election, and so they're like,
that doesn't mean so. See, they don't know.
But that's what they think.
They don't know our laws. They don't know our spirits. I was going to say that. They don't know our spirits. They don't know our laws. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know.
But the fact is,
right? They don't know who they're fucking with. They don't know.
Yeah.
This is America. This is America.
This is
okay,
America.
with the M.
This is America.
This is America.
This is America.
Right? Like,
yeah.
You guys know Sun Tzu Bing Fa. Sun Tzu Bing Fa is The Art of War. That's Trump's favorite book.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that?
Oh gosh.
Appear weak when you're weakest, when you're your strongest.
When you're strongest, appear the weakest. And I've had the Art of War since I was 17. No, earlier, maybe 16.
Oh shit! You gotta get gas.
Okay.
Like really, really gotta get gas.
Well, we're in Texas.
Well,
got a whole lot of gasoline in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. We're some gassy ass people. We're gonna be like filming and be like, you're like, I don't know. Oh my God, whoa. But yeah, I mean, it's people, like, if people would just educate themselves a little bit and understand, communism, what it does. It's ideology. It's not. Why you could have? It's your right of way. We could be stuck right here because you didn't take it. Okay, here we are. Petrol station.
She grew up and they say petrol, we say gas.
Yeah. And my grandmother, my American grandmother, whenever she got excited, she doesn't talk much anymore, but she would get excited. She was a big-time businesswoman. She's like, now we're cooking with gas. That's her favorite.
I love that.
Now we're cooking. She was going to put on a party. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay.
That's cute. Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Oh, okay. I'll just
Bye,
sign up,
y'all.
you guys. All right, guys. So wait. Don't do. I gotta do my tag. All right, guys. So there'll be more to come. Keep the faith. Remember, they want us demoralized. I don't think it's over. There's so much evidence and so many people. There's still other pathways to victory. We have 2 weeks to see what the next moves are going to be. I think things are going to get really crazy. And I would talk to you guys later. Peace, true love, guys. Bye-bye. Mwah.